Going on Greetings of Soul. I'm Swami Shankarananda of the Divine Life Church in Baltimore, Maryland. We represent the yoga teachings of ancient India that are known as Vedanta, which is non-dualism, non-sectarianism. It's universal and it invites people of all faiths and persuasions to explore other possibilities, and we stress that it is possible for us to know the truth for ourselves. Know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And through meditation, we attain that higher knowledge, the revelation, the grace of the divine. And we acknowledge that God is within everyone, is all-pervading throughout creation, in every being equally present, and that we have all the resources within the soul, the self, to manifest divinity on earth, which is the reason for our being here. And the earth is God's gift to us, that we may be on this wonderful, rambunctious adventure of realizing our oneness, our universality, and the joy of being, and to continue expanding beyond all dimensions of unfoldment. So I'm very happy that we have this lovely, lovely representative of divinity on earth with us today, the Reverend Rebecca Lynne.
Thank you.
Who's going to share with us now a little about herself.
Thank you so much, Swami. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm a unity minister, and that means unity of all religions. Just like you have this beautiful mandala up here on the wall that shows the symbols for all religions. Every religion has their own symbol and their symbols that they use to teach according to their culture. And we teach very much all the same thing. And it's exciting to me to be with someone who we can exchange ideas, and no, I don't ever have to be afraid of telling too much, because you already know much anyway. I became a unity minister when I didn't know anything except what was taught to me through the traditional Christianity church. And I was disturbed about Jesus telling us to be perfect when we were only human beings, and I began to read the Bible with greater concentration, and I could never get past the second chapter of Genesis, because I was continually told to go back to the beginning. And to make a long story short, I eventually realized that in the first line of the Bible is the Trinity. And that Trinity I call the secret triangle, because the word beginning, it came to me, means mind, infinite mind. And then the very next word was God. So that told me that God is in mind. That made sense to me. If I was not conscious of God, God did not exist for me. And then the next word was created. So I tried to think of what it is that is creative, and a seed came to me because it gives its own life and its own substance to become its plant or whatever. And so it said, in the beginning, God created. What did God create? Heaven. Well, then I had to think, if this is all taking place in mind, it must be an idea, because mind is full of ideas. This idea would be an idea of life, eternal life, whole life, perfect life. Maybe that's what Jesus meant when he said, "Be ye perfect." In my mind, there was this idea of perfection as life. And then the next word, of course, was "and earth." Earth then would naturally be the expression of that life. Whether it be in this dimension or any other dimension, there would be unlimited, perfect substance that could be molded and shaped according to the idea. So then I discovered that my own divinity was a triangle. I had the source, which is God. I had the mind to know that, And in that mind was eternal life, perfect life, and unlimited substance to image and create what I wanted. And that discovery led me to unity and what I've done for 45 years.
So it all began with oneness.
Yes, absolutely.
How did we get away from oneness?
Yeah, well, I think that is the idea of duality that has hindered us, and that is on purpose, because I believe that the purpose for our being here is to learn how to control life, that it will be useful to the universe, and to control substance, that it will be a perfect expression of perfect life. And in order to learn that, we have to first believe other than the truth, that we are separate. Now, the way you can get separation is, of course, the God source created two things. One was life, and if you think about life as having an energy pattern or a vibration that goes in cycles like this, and the other is earth, that would be the expression of the idea, then it would go like this. The same two forces that you see in the atom, one horizontal, the other vertical. The same two forces you see in the cross, which is spirit meets matter. So this then is the only thing that God needs to create and to express itself. But because of that duality, when these two different forces meet, it causes an electromagnetic force, which is the reason you can have manifestation. Without it, you cannot have manifestation. So then, because there is that duality, as we come down into a lower expression and lower dimension, we believe that we are separate from everyone else, and that of course we're separate from God, which is not true.
Indeed, from the what you're sharing concurs fully with the Vedantic position, yoga. It shows us that duality is the illusion, but we have made it our reality, what we call matter, creation. That creation itself is energy, crystallized, concretized, physicalized, because we need that in order to function in this dimension. So the soul clothed itself in a physical garment, and again this idea of separation came by identifying with the physical garment. You're not this body. When you say for example, when you say I'm sick, that's a dualistic statement based on judgment according to appearances, according to physicality. You say, well, I feel sick. The yogic position would be a little different. It would say, I'm experiencing a wave of sickness passing through this body.
Yeah, I love that.
So I'm never sick, but I'm experiencing a wave of illness. Whatever form it takes. By doing that, you keep in perspective that there's always this underlying unitive spirit, which I am. I am can never be sick. I am can never lack anything, because to say I am lacking something means God would be lacking something. Or someone could fire back and say, but Swami, God must have lacked something if God felt the need to create the world, the universe. That God, now say God didn't have a need. God had unconditional love, and it was done out of love. It was an act of love to pour itself into its ideas so that it could experience those ideas in manifestation.
Beautiful.
And then God could experience itself as each of us, through each of us, as individualized self-expressions of its own innate, infinite, creative nature with all the potencies already existing in that consciousness. It's that, these potencies that divine consciousness or mind draws on for whatever it chooses or sees would be helpful to the evolution of all species.
Yes, and that's exactly what unity teaches. And the idea that we are separate is because we look outside of ourselves, and we are so in touch with what we see as tangible body, and we think that that is real. It would be like us walking up to a mirror and saying that the reflection is real. We know it's not real. This is also a reflection of an idea of life that we have that is physical atomic matter. But there are other ideas of life that are moving toward the perfect idea of life. And the more open we are, I believe, don't you, that as we begin to see ourselves as perfect in reality, and that this is an illusion like looking into a mirror, that we have been self-reflecting, and we thought, oh, everything was outside of us, everything is an object, but actually we are the subject itself.
Rebecca, I'm smiling because two ideas come to my mind. One is the image, the mirror image. This is an ancient example. A dog was put into a hall of mirrors, and he barked at every dog in the mirror, and in the process went insane because he thought every dog in the mirror that barked back at him was a separate dog. It's the same dog, so we're barking at the duality.
Yeah. And so, it seems so real.
Yes.
Right. Well, the duality, you know, a lot of people believe that in the devil, that there is some kind of a satanic force that is outside of them. And I remember reading in some of Yogananda's works that when he explained Satan, it seemed that he kind of had a feeling that there was a satanic force outside of us. But if you understand the triangle, nothing can be outside of you because you are mind and you are using those perfect ideas.
You know, it's such a powerful reminder you're offering, because I also pondered that and we'll continue with that. Okay. We're talking about Satan very briefly, just to round that off. The idea of Satan is a dualistic concept and spiritually discerned, as Rebecca and I have discussed. It's symbolic of the ego consciousness, the sense of separation that we have created. And so we assume there is an entity called Satan outside of us, which does not square with the law of creation. God, in the beginning, all things were made by God. So God, the consciousness of God, the mind of God, which is all beautiful and perfect and whole, cannot create anything opposed to its own beingness, wholeness, purity, nature of unconditional love.
But, Swami, remember that in the triangle there is that duality, and the duality is love and fear, and Satan is the fear. And once you realize the love, or the real idea of eternal life and oneness and perfection, the fear leaves you, and therefore it's inside of us. It's not some entity outside of us, as you believe and teach. Yes.
Exactly. So fear is the root of all suffering, and it generates the idea of a Satan.
Yes. And some people think it's their karma to have Satan in their life, making them do things. What do you think about karma?
Okay, let me briefly comment on karma. It's, karma, the word itself, means action, the law of cause and effect. As a law, it operates as though it were a law. So long as we are under the law of karma, we experience the effects of all our actions. So, for example, negative actions, negative thoughts create negative actions. The person goes around all the time saying, in the words of Buddha, he who harbors such thoughts as, I'm being mistreated, I'm being abused, I'm being misunderstood. He who harbors such thoughts, suffering follows him like his own shadow.
Yes.
But he who does not harbor such thoughts happiness follows him
Yes.
all the days of his life,
Yes.
essentially.
Yes, I like to think of it and compare it to the breath. When you let go of a breath, you know that when you inhale, you're going to get another breath. And so this is the way the law works. Everything that you give out in thought and feeling will come back to you. You will breathe it out, and then you will breathe it in, and that's what you will experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a certain frequency of vibration. Your thoughts of perfection and love and joy and peace have a higher frequency of vibration. Your thoughts of anger and fear have a lower vibration. And that's what your karma is. You're going to get some things to experience in that lower vibration. So that's why we learn in Unity and in your church that we have to watch our thoughts.
Absolutely. Watch ye and pray. As the master counseled his disciples.
Yes.
I want one more thought about the karma, where I have a different slant on it,
Mm-hmm.
because when I was in India, I was appalled by this imprisonment to the idea of karma, that millions of people who are starving claim it's their karma and that they had to continue suffering. That's another key word, suffering. And I said, well, who taught you to believe that? Well, my religion. I said, you know, it's according to your belief that is done unto you, whatever religion you claim.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a higher law. What transcends the law of karma? Love. God is love.
Mm-hmm.
So as I choose to imbue every action, every thought with love, every intention, every desire, every perception, every yearning, then my actions become loving. If I choose to look with the eyes of love at everybody and at everything, love is what's mirrored back to me, as you said so beautifully.
It's the mirror again, the self-reflection. It's all happening inside of you, and you are mind, and mind is infinite. And we were just saying a little bit ago that truth is so deep that you think you've got it all, and then you feel yourself going into the next realization about the same truth. Oh, now I recognize this, and then all of a sudden you'll even go higher. So there is no end to what we have to learn and what we can experience.
I concur with that fully.
Yes, and we give thanks to our divinity for teaching us this.
And I give thanks to all of you for being part of my divinity.
And you too, Swami.
You too.
It's been great.
For being part of each other.
Yes, right.
Thank you.